As we get set to start the second quarter, Jim Donovan along with James Lofton, Baltimore's Ravens 7 and the Tennessee Oilers 3. It's third down and 23 to go for Eric Zeier. At the 34 of Tennessee, they run it. Van Morris to the 31, and he's tailed down there. The crowd not liking the call there as they will go for a field goal now. Matt Stover comes on the field.
And my big theory about trying to go for it in 2 was thrown out the window as the teams exchange field pass, because now they can kick with the wind. And Matt Stover, during the timeout, actually came out onto the football field to kind of check out the wind. So, you know, he's been out there early. Pretty confident he can hit this 50-yarder.
50-yarder. He was 1 for 3 last week. His long in the year, as you saw, is 49 yards. Montgomery holds. The Stover kick is blocked. And it's picked up by the Oilers. So it really goes bad for them right there. Bowden comes up and scoops up the ball. The linebacker. Tennessee gets finally a good special teams play.
Yeah, and that ball would have been blocked by a bunch of 4th graders. It has no height whatsoever. He hits this, and it's a line drive. You see how low it comes out of there. And granted, the Oilers have pressure. This ball is just too low. It's never going to get above the line of scrimmage. And Kenny Holmes was the guy who got in there on the block.
And he was all over it. Jeff Fisher says, all right, here we go. They've had 2 miscues on punts, receiving those punts that have turned into Raven recoveries, and now they block a 50-yard attempt by Matt Stover. 1st and 10, they're in Raven territory. McNair, he's sacked for the first time today. Rob Boulware comes in and picks up his 11th and a half sack on the season.
And normally your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. And Steve McNair's greatest strength is his mobility. So he's going to stand there in the pocket when there are times when he really needs to get going or to deliver the ball a little more quickly. He's looking for something big downfield. He has to sense that they're bringing multiple people and getting rid of the ball.
So we're on a Peter Boulware watch right now. 1 sack away from tying the rookie record. McNair still wants to throw it. Finally gives up on that idea, and he runs out of there down near the 43-yard line. And we'll go back to New York right now and check in with Greg Gumbel. He has an update for us.
All right, Jim. Orchard Park, New York, and Buffalo, the Jacksonville Jaguars, their eyes set on a playoff berth. Will it win today? Natron Means bulls his way in from 2 yards out, and with the extra point, the Jaguars now lead Buffalo 14-0 second quarter. Back to Jim and James.
I would love to see the Baselli-Bruce Smith matchup in that ball game. Baselli handled them last year during the playoffs.
3rd down and 11 for the Oilers. Oh, the whole middle of the field is open for McNair. And he slides down near the 20-yard line. It just parted right in the middle, James, for a 22-yard gain.
You know, you will see what Steve McNair sees, and he doesn't see a guy open enough to deliver the football downfield, but what he does see is that huge opening. And Ray Lewis, who's one of the best tacklers, well, Ray Lewis, you better get really good cleats next time if you want to stand up and tackle this guy.
Coming into the game, McNair was rushing for 534 yards, and he runs there for 22 more. 1st and 10. Gets rid of it just before Sharper, the linebacker. Jamie Sharper belts him in the pocket.
If it is your job to blitz from the backside, that's exactly what you do. Very often, that linebacker, when he's coming from the open side, he'll see that play-action fake, and he'll dip at the running back. Sharper kept his eyes on McNair. This is obviously something that they have seen on film, and good film study will often pay off during the course of the football game.
Jamie Sharper heads to the sideline. A good rookie season for him, the rookie from Virginia. And it is 2nd and 10. Eddie George. Nothing. He runs into the arms of Keith Washington. and Ray Lewis, the middle linebacker.
Well, and kind of a mismatch at the point of attack. You have Frank Wycheck, who's a good maneuverable tight end, a good pass catcher, against Keith Washington, who is a defensive end. And anytime you match up a tight end blocking a defensive end, the defensive end should normally win that matchup. Now, Wycheck may want that defensive end to try and cover him downfield, but he won't get that.
On third down, and that's what it is right now, 3rd and 10. The Oilers are 4 out of 5. Trailing 7-3. Blitz coming, and McNair has to get rid of it. And the pass is down low and in front of Chris Sanders. So they'll have to settle for a field goal attempt by Al Del Greco.
And they do a good job in what is commonly referred to as the zone blitz. They bring multiple guys from one side, still play zone coverage behind, but too many guys are coming from that short side of the field. They just can't pick them up.
The spot will be at the 30-yard line, a 40-yard attempt. Del Greco is 1 for 1 on the day. He hit from 25. A low line drive, but he gets it over the crossbar, and he's 2 for 2. And the Oilers cut a little bit more off their Raven lead. It's now 7-6. This is the NFL on NBC.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up. By Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Citizen. Today more than ever, Citizen is how the world tells time. And by Compaq, the most popular computer in the world.
Al Del Greco set to kick off. He was good from 40 yards on his field goal. He's 2 for 2 on the day. And Tennessee races down the field to cover Jermaine Lewis in a 7-6 Baltimore lead. Lewis is brought down. Brought down by Armin Williams on the tackle. Well, as we continue to go down memory lane here at Memorial Stadium on the final game played here in its history, ironically, it was the Oilers who also played in the Baltimore Colts final game at Memorial Stadium. And on that last game of the '83 season, Colts quarterback Mike Pagel led Baltimore to a 20-10 win over then the Houston Oilers. Rob Burnett went to the locker room to have an x-ray on his left ankle and has come back out into the field. And James, I'm thinking that might have gone back to that play when he got blocked by Michael Roan early in the game.
Yeah, and definitely you can see the left ankle is heavily taped. He's limping on it. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to come back into this ball game. 1st and 10 for the Ravens. Bam Morris changing directions again and runs it out near the 33-yard line. We're going to go back to New York right now and check in with Greg Gumbel. He has an update.
All right, Jim, in Indianapolis, the Miami Dolphins are looking for a win and a playoff berth, but Jim Harbaugh's making an awful tough 10-yard touchdown pass to Marshall Faulk. Harbaugh having a good afternoon, and so are the Colts. They lead the Dolphins at this point. 10-0, second quarter, Jim.
I mean, Jim Harbaugh has been hot the last 3 weeks against New England, last weekend against the Jets, and, you know, they are becoming the spoilers. They're going to work themselves out of the way of that first pick there.
2nd down. Zeier short drop. Nobody to throw to. Running out of time. And finally, throws one into the Raven bench at the 45-yard line. Now, there had to be super coverage everywhere.
Now, we need to go over a couple of issues first. Never say the words short and Zeier in the same sentence. The guy will get a complex so that he takes not a deep drop, a mid-range. Yeah, there's a lot of time to throw this football, but no one open downfield. And there are scramble rules. You try and work a certain direction, try and do this. But it boils down to if you see your color jersey and then the other color jersey right next to each other, you don't throw the football. And, you know, good move by Eric Zeier, because it's very tempting. You scramble around that long to try and make something out of nothing.
It's 3rd and 5. Zeier is 0 for his last 4. He throws that one, and it's incomplete. As it's knocked down at the 38-yard line, Jermaine Lewis was the intended receiver, and Darrell Lewis was draped on him. Lewis on Lewis there. And Darrell Lewis ends up coming up with the good strip on that play.
You know, he might not have had the first down on this play, but it's still good to catch the football and kind of get that continuity back in the offense. And you never know, you know, once Jermaine Lewis gets the ball in his hands, he can break a couple of tackles and make big things happen.
Now back deep, Mike Archie. at the 20-yard line. Derek Mason, remember, was injured when he got belted on that last punt return. Punts have been a real roller coaster here today for the Oilers, and Archie is covered back at the 15-yard line. Good special team play again by the Ravens as they hold on to a 1-point lead. We'll be right back. On the Ravens sideline, Rob Burnett really wants to get back into this game. The X-ray has been taken on that left ankle, and he's out there trying to run it off and get it loose again.
And they have 3 starters out. Saragusa also, and Michael McNair, so 3 out of their 4 starters out of the ballgame right now.
Bad field position again for Tennessee. They start at their 14, trailing 7-6 here in the second quarter. McNair across the middle, intended for Frank Wycheck out at the 35-yard line. Incomplete. Well, you wonder, they're leaving Memorial Stadium, these Ravens. Where are they going to go? Well, here's a look at their brand new stadium, which will be located just a few steps away from the Baltimore Orioles Park at Camden Yards. And there it is. 68,400 is what the seating capacity will be, and it will be ready to go next season.
Now, they don't have a name for it yet, though, do they?
Right now, it's just the new Ravens Stadium.
Just a new place.
McNair offers last 4, so he hands it off, and Eddie George runs right into Ray Lewis. And after a quick start by Eddie George, it's been tough going the last 3 or 4 runs for him.
Yeah, well, we mentioned that if you're going to try and run the ball with Saragusa and all the other guys out of the ball game, you run directly up the middle. Well, you know, we forget Ray Lewis is still in that middle, and Stepnowski's the guy who has to get off and block him. Stepnowski only at 270 pounds, one of the smaller linemen left around at 270 pounds. But Ray Lewis is a tough guy to get a hold of.
3rd and 9. Rodney Thomas in the backfield. The catch is made there, and spinning to try and get the extra yardage out over the 20-yard line is Frank Wycheck. But I believe that he is short of the first down by about a yard, and so they'll punt as Reggie Roby will come in.
It is so important to be accurate with your passing because you need to give your guys a chance to run the football.
In the Thursday debacle at Cincinnati, Reggie Roby on the punt. Look at this play. The fake. He fakes the handoff. He runs the ball. It's 12 yards. It was the biggest running play they had in the entire first half. And that concluded the highlights for the Oilers on that night.
And it was the most time-consuming 12-yard run I've ever seen.
He's punting here. Jermaine Lewis takes it at the 30. And stepped out of bounds. Good coverage down there by the Oilers. 47-yard punt by Roby. Baltimore holds on, leading 7-6. And we'll be right back. Baltimore leading 7-6 with 8:38 to go here in the first half. They start at the 27-yard line, their own 27. Zeier has hit a cold spell. 0 for his last 5. A lot of time. He's looking for Michael Jackson. And a fine recovery on defense by Denard Walker, who steps in and bats the ball away. We head to New York for an update with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim, the Colts just keep on rolling in Indianapolis. Jim Harbaugh's pass over the middle is tipped. Ken Dilger still there on the receiving end, 7 yards and a touchdown. And for Indy, it's now a 17-point lead under 7 minutes to play. They lead the Dolphins.
The big question is, what does this do in their war room when they get ready to draft? If they lose that first pick, and they could have gotten Woodson or whoever traded, they'll be looked back at this last month of the season and say, we should have kept losing.
Bear Morris gains 4 as he runs it out over the 30-yard line, setting up 3rd down. Tackle on the play made by Blaine Bishop. Morris with 37 yards. Bishop is on his way to another Pro Bowl, and when we talked to him last night, just talk about a tiny guy that just really has played so well. Bishop, who came out of Ball State, out of the MAC Conference, and now back into the Pro Bowl. Oilers coming up on the line of scrimmage on 3rd down. Zeier got hit, but he hung in there and got Michael Jackson for a first down over the 45-yard line. He got struck as soon as he dropped back into the pocket.
You know, you talk about a guy's height. You don't measure heart very often, and Eric Zeier has a lot of heart to be able to stand in and throw that football, but at the tail end of the play, once again, the big receiver effect. Jeff Fisher spent 2 years with the San Francisco 49ers, and he looks at their roster with Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and J.J. Stokes, big physical players, and that's what the Oilers want in their next draft.
That was his first completion in his last 7 throws. He'll go right back to it, and he'll shovel it off to Bam Morris. Bowden brings him down, up near a first down inside the Oilers' 45-yard line. That was well done by Zeier, as he didn't see anything downfield and saw 33 wide open.
And you hear the crowd responding. And when they introduced the player today, Eric Zeier got one of the biggest responses from this crowd. You know, Vinny Testaverde has been a much maligned guy ever since he played in the Orange Bowl against Penn State and just kept throwing the ball to the other team. But Eric Zeier is a fresh start for this guy, and this may be what they need to move into the new building.
Bam Morris trapped in the backfield and will struggle to get back to the line of scrimmage. Darrell Lewis came up there along with Joe Bowden. So it will be 2nd down and 9. They'll give him a 1-yard gain.
We talked about Vinny Testaverde, but the one thing that Eric Zeier said is that both Vinny and I put this team first, and that, you know, despite all the things that are happening, we still remain good friends off the football field.
2nd and 9. Catch is made by Eric Green. Brought down by Lenoir Jones and Darrell Lewis.
And I'm imagining trying to tackle Eric Green, and you know, you're driving down a snow-covered highway, you can barely see, and then out in front of your little spec car pops this big giant moose. That's what it is trying to tackle Eric Green if you're a defensive back. It's like a big moose has stepped in front of your little tiny car.
You know, that's exactly the example that I was thinking about. 3rd down now and 3 for the Ravens. Zeier flushed out of the pocket, steps up, throws for Green. He's got him, and a touchdown!
Talked about the Oilers trying to blitz. That time they just try and run a stunt on both sides of the line. Eric Zeier escapes the pass rush and has the ability to look downfield and spot a wide open Eric Green. But I glance to the sideline, and the guy cheering the loudest, Vinny Testaverde.
Matt Stover for the extra point. Zeier's 2nd touchdown pass of the day, a 37-yard touchdown pass. And the kick is good, and on that drive, Zeier went 4 for 5. Topping it off with the touchdown pass to Eric Green, and the Ravens up their lead. It's 14-6. Eric Zeier on the Ravens sideline after he scrambles and finds Eric Green for a 37-yard touchdown. There's the breakdown of the drive, 73 yards. Rodney Thomas catches at the 2-yard line for the Oilers. And he gets trapped back at the 15-yard line. And on special teams, Benny Thompson leads the way for the Ravens. So far on kick coverage, they have been superb today.
And Benny Thompson is the guy who goes and acknowledges the crowd, but it's Tyrus McCloud, the linebacker, who actually makes the stop. But Benny Thompson is a force. You know, you try and double team him, you scheme things up to stop him, and when you do that, it frees up the other guy.
Once again, inside their 20, they start at the 16-yard line. 3rd time that they have started to drive inside the 20 today. Now down 14-6. Here comes Eddie George. A late flag gets thrown in at the 21-yard line. And that will make it a little worse for the Oilers.
Yeah, and that came in from the head linesman, and I would venture to say that wasn't one of the offensive linemen, but maybe a receiver.
Holding number 80, offense.
Michael Roan.
10-yard penalty. Defeat the down. First down.
There's Michael Roan. He lines up in the backfield this time, and he is the designated blocker on this team, and he's going to get up in there. And what happens once Eddie George goes the opposite direction, he started off on the right, and Roan has him. He's thinking he's going to my right, but when he breaks back to the left and that guy tries to get out of the grass, that's when Roan is guilty of holding. You don't know where the running back is going to go, so you really need to keep your hands inside the framework of the body. Roan let that right arm get outside, and that's why he was victimized on the holding call.
That's his second penalty of the day. Now it's first down and 17. Eddie George. He's going to get the penalty yardage back as he brings it out over the 20-yard line.
Ralph Staten had the first hit. Gain of 11.
The NFL on NBC is back next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. Then Bruce Smith and the Buffalo Bills travel to Green Bay to take on Brett Favre and the defending world champion Packers. That's the NFL on NBC next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern.
Now, if I'm playing for the Buffalo Bills, and it's cold in Buffalo, I have to get on the plane, get off a colder spot in Green Bay. You would think the last game of the year, you get to play in Miami or Tampa or somewhere like that. We're seeing Eddie George there. The medical staff has talked to him. And Ralph Staten comes up, number 41. He started for the first time last week and had 2 interceptions in his first start, a Ravens record. He had been playing behind Stephon Moore all year long. And Staten, Alabama, we knew he could play the pass from the 2 interceptions, but he comes up and he sticks Eddie George, and Eddie George, you can see it like just writhing in pain there. He's walking off on his own power now, but there's just a little bit of limp in his giddy-up.
Well, the thing to remember about Staten is that he's back as a safety right now, but at Alabama, he was a linebacker, and so he's made the conversion now to safety in the NFL. On that play, he still hit like a linebacker. Second down, 7. At their own 20-yard line. Rodney Thomas in for Eddie George. He'll get trapped behind the 20. Great pursuit again by Antonio Langham and Ray Lewis.
Well, you get the pursuit coming from the inside of Ray Lewis, but on the outside you have Willie Davis, who is supposed to block Antonio Langham. And I say supposed to because that's his assignment, and he didn't come anywhere close to accomplishing the job. And when you do that, you shorten the field. Langham does a good job in defeating the block, but Willie Davis, paid to catch passes, but you really earn your money when you have to block.
3rd and 7 for Tennessee. McNair pulls it down and then finally fires it down the middle, and Chris Sanders makes the catch out near the 35. That's a first down on a 15-yard gain.
And a lot of people will have wondered what has happened to Chris Sanders this year. His numbers are way down. I mean, he had some terrific years his first 2 years in the league, but this year it just hasn't been there for him. And this is one of the spots in the field that he really hasn't operated well in. Normally a guy with this type of speed, a lot of outs and ups, but doesn't catch a lot of passes inside the numbers. But when you spread the field out with 3 receivers, there aren't a lot of linebackers left. So, you don't need to be afraid to cross the middle.
McNair back up on first down. Pump fake. Now fires across the middle. It's broken up by Ray Lewis again. What a first half he's having. Why isn't he going to Honolulu?
Well, he has the misfortune of playing the same position as Junior Seau. Junior Seau's going as the second middle linebacker. Levon Kirkland from the Pittsburgh Steelers is going as the number 1 guy. He's an alternate. And I would hate to say it, but he'll be watching the playoffs and watching the Steelers and hoping that, Levon Kirkland gets a hangnail or something like that, and he has to get the assignment in Honolulu. But I told Lewis, I said, 10 or 12 years from now, guys will be saying, oh, he doesn't deserve to go. He didn't have that good of a year. Because he's going to have a run in there 7 or 8 years where he's the guy who goes every season.
Second down and 10. Eddie George is back in for the Oilers. Going long for Chris Sanders, and it's intercepted by Antonio Langham. James, that play just didn't look like it was open at all.
And one of the most overworked terms in football is he threw into double coverage. You see the out and up move, and Langham just stays back in his deep zone. Kim Herring picks up the receiver after he makes the out part, and then when he turns up, and Langham is there to pick it up.
Langham holds on to that ball, third for him this season. And the Ravens defense continues to play so well. I mean, they have so many injuries up front. And another one today with Rob Burnett, and yet they're really playing well against the Oilers. 3 turnovers already in the first half for Tennessee. And the ball is at the Raven 25 as Eric Zeier might be changing the play right here. He's throwing long. That's a catch down near the 45-yard line. Derek Alexander makes the grab at the 44 of Tennessee, a 30-yard connection.
And I mentioned earlier about our vantage point where we're pretty close to the field. I heard Eric Zeier that time call 69, which is their audible to throw the ball deep. Maybe I should have told the Oilers.
2 minutes to go. We'll be right back.
Eric Zeier sees that Blaine Bishop has crowded the line of scrimmage in a blitz look. Decides, I'm going to take my chances, go deep. They actually bail out and play zone coverage behind it with just a perfect pass by Zeier sticking the ball on Derek Alexander.
He started out ice cold, 1 for his first 8, although the one connection was a touchdown. And now he's 5 for his last 5. But this play goes nowhere, and Zeier is trapped in the pocket and brought down at the 48-yard line. There's Walker in on the tackle of Zeier. Go back to last week as the Ravens started to get hot in the secondary. They had a big ball game in the secondary to preserve the 31-24 win over Seattle. They came up with 4 interceptions in that game and 3 turnovers here in the first half against Tennessee. The run now to the 45-yard line. And it will be 3rd down and long with 1:34 and the clock running. Both teams have all of their timeouts remaining.
And you're in a no-huddle situation here, but you're not in a hurry. You have 1 minute and 25 seconds to play. You don't want to give them time on the clock to be able to execute their 2-minute offense.
Ernest Biner is in the backfield replacing Bam Morris. A quick adjustment there, and they hit the hot receiver, and it's Jermaine Lewis at the 40-yard line, but they are well short of the first down.
You have a 57, 58-yarder if you try and kick it from here.
I would decline that. He had one blocked already from 50.
And you bleed the clock. You take all of the 40-second clock here. Possibly call a timeout right before that, and then decide what you're going to do on 4th down.
That's what Ted Marchibroda is saying. Let that clock wind down, then call a timeout, which they do to talk it over. It's 4th down. Baltimore 14, Tennessee 6. This is the NFL on NBC. 48 seconds remaining here in the first half at Memorial Stadium. And coming up on the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Greg, Joe, Chris, and Sam have all the scores and highlights around the league. Plus, we'll talk with Bill Cowher and Cordell Stewart after their big win yesterday in New England. 4th down, Ernest Biner. That's a first down. And look at the veteran find that sideline to save that clock, too. 17 yards. He steps out at the 23.
And after 14 years of football, you know, he may not be in on first down. He may not get in early in the ballgame, but he certainly doesn't get flustered. He's there to protect in the pocket. Then he leaks through. He finds his way out. And first thought, get out of bounds. You know, I don't need the total yardage. I mean, he's way up there in the top 10 rushing all time or whatever it is. Smart, heady play by Ernest Biner.
7 consecutive completions by Zeier for 122 yards. And the string will end right there. On the coverage, Lanoy Jones of Eric Green. Stops the clock with 36 seconds left. Ravens with 2 timeouts remaining. How would you say he's played, James? Eric Zeier here in the first half.
I think he's done a good job in moving around, avoiding sacks. We saw the scramble with the touchdown. Derek Green, a good first half by Zeier so far.
2nd down and 10 with 36 to go in the first half. Steps up in the pocket. Finds Michael Jackson. Breaks the tackle to the 5 and down near the 1-yard line.
That's going to be a touchback. He fumbled that ball in the field of play. The ball goes in the end zone and out of bounds. Michael Jackson, his right arm is hanging down, but it's that big physical presence. He broke one tackle and tried to go for the end zone. That's going to be a touchback, and it'll be the Oilers' ball at the 20-yard line.
Let's watch Jackson at the end of the play here. At the 1, he'll hit.
And he's moving the ball, trying to put it in a secure location. He thought about putting it in that left arm because he is a left-handed guy, and he would have had it away from the tackler, but it almost looks like he has it in his right arm. It's in his left arm right now, and watch him. Moves it into his right arm, which surprises me because that's where the defenders are coming from.
George McCullough made the hit.
You see the grimace, you know, hate to speculate, but obviously it is that shoulder. It may just be a burner or even a separation.
Knee down to end the first half, and Tennessee really dodges a very big bullet. It looked like Michael Jackson had them first and goal at the 1, but instead he fumbles. The ball goes out of the end zone. Touchback, and that ends the first half. 14-6, the Ravens lead over the Tennessee Oilers at the end of the first half here in a great final ball game here at Memorial Stadium. Right now, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York for the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report.
This is the